Elon Musk's secret innovation disappears, a race against time. The realization hit the room like a shockwave. The file wasn't stolen. It was hidden in plain sight. Someone had manipulated SpaceX's security system, making it believe the file had never existed. This was no ordinary hack. This was an inside job performed by someone with an unparalleled level of access and expertise. Elon Musk's eyes darkened with a mixture of intrigue and urgency. If the data still existed within SpaceX's network, there was a way to retrieve it. But time was running out. Whoever did this wouldn't stop at just hiding the file. They might erase it permanently. A battle against an unseen enemy. Musk turned to Sophia Hayes, the AI security chief. Can we reverse engineer the system? Find the missing blueprint? Sophia exhaled sharply, fingers already flying over her keyboard. If the file isn't deleted but just hidden, we might be able to trace its remnants. But whoever did this is incredibly skilled. Ryan Carter, the prime suspect, clenched his fists. I'm telling you, I didn't do this. Sam Jensen, the veteran technician, stepped forward again. We don't have time for accusations. If we don't find the file soon, we'll lose it forever. Musk nodded. This was no longer about blame. This was about recovery. Tracking a digital ghost. Sophia's fingers flew across the console, running deep forensic scans on SpaceX's database. The room filled with streams of code flashing across the central screen. Error. File not found. Access denied. Data unavailable. Sophia gritted her teeth. Damn it, it's buried deep. Musk wasn't about to accept failure. Check the backups. Even if the system was manipulated, there must be traces left behind. Suddenly, something flickered on the screen. A single line of code that shouldn't be there. Sophia's eyes widened. Wait, this isn't a deletion log. It's a redirection log. Everyone in the room leaned in. The file wasn't erased. It had been moved. The hunt intensifies. Whoever did this didn't just want to hide it. Sophia murmured. They needed time. Time to extract something. Time to cover their tracks. Musk's mind worked at lightning speed. Where was it moved? Sophia ran a trace. Lines of data unfolded, revealing a surprising answer. The file had been rerouted through multiple internal servers, looping endlessly, bouncing through different parts of SpaceX's network. Ryan gasped. They're buying time. The longer it moves, the harder it is to find. Sam Jensen exhaled slowly. So who benefits from delaying us? Silence. Then Musk's voice cut through the tension. Someone inside SpaceX didn't want us to launch this technology first. A betrayal from within. Sophia pushed deeper into the digital maze, following the breadcrumbs left behind. Then she stopped. Her face went pale. Oh my God. Musk stepped closer. What is it? Sophia turned to him, voice barely above a whisper. The data was rerouted to a private encrypted server, owned by someone on our team. The name appeared on the screen. Dr. Nathan Reynolds. A stunned silence filled the control room. Dr. Reynolds was one of SpaceX's senior engineers, a trusted figure in Musk's inner circle. Sam narrowed his eyes. I never liked that guy. Ryan's face twisted in shock. Reynolds? No way. He's been working on this project since the beginning. Why would he betray us? Sophia's fingers danced over the keyboard, breaking through another layer of encryption. She pulled up a new piece of data. An outgoing transmission, a connection to a foreign intelligence network. Musk's expression turned ice cold. We're not dealing with a rogue engineer. This is corporate espionage. The final countdown. Sophia's screen flashed red. The stolen file was set to be fully extracted in less than 10 minutes. If it was sent out, SpaceX's greatest innovation would be lost forever. Musk wasted no time. He grabbed a secure phone. Locked down the building. I want Dr. Reynolds found. Now. Security teams rushed into action. Meanwhile, Sophia hacked directly into Reynolds' private server, racing against time to pull the file back. 5 minutes left. The data transfer was 87% complete. Ryan hovered behind her. Can we stop it? Sophia's fingers blurred across the keyboard. I'm working on it. 2 minutes left. The transfer reached 95%. Sweat trickled down Sophia's forehead. She had one shot. She bypassed the encryption and hit reverse transfer. 10 seconds left. The stolen file began moving back to SpaceX's secure database. Dr. Reynolds burst into the control room. 2 security officers grabbing him. His face twisted in fury. "You don't understand what you're stopping," he shouted. "This technology shouldn't belong to just one company. It should be for the world." Musk's expression was unreadable. Then, he stepped forward. "You don't get to decide that." Transfer complete. The stolen blueprint was restored. The aftermath. Dr. Reynolds was taken into custody. The stolen data was secured. SpaceX's greatest breakthrough remained in their hands. As the control room took a collective breath, Sam Jensen let out a slow chuckle. "Well, that was fun." Musk turned to Sophia. "How bad was the damage?" Sophia shook her head. "The file's intact. We stopped it just in time." Ryan exhaled, shaking his head in disbelief. "We almost lost everything." Musk smirked. "Almost." As the sun rose over SpaceX headquarters, Musk knew one thing for sure. This was just the beginning. Tomorrow, the world would witness the future of space travel. And thanks to a team that refused to back down, it would be SpaceX leading the way. Elon Musk's innovation stolen. A battle of minds begins. The tension in the SpaceX control center was unbearable. Every eye locked onto Elon Musk, whose piercing gaze was fixed on the massive screen displaying lines of cryptic code. The stolen blueprint of SpaceX's revolutionary self-repairing rocket system wasn't gone, it had been cloaked. Hidden deep within their own system by a technological ghost. Musk took a slow, measured breath. "We've been looking at this all wrong. The thief never took the file. They just made us believe it was stolen." A hushed murmur spread through the room. If the file was still inside their network, someone within SpaceX had manipulated the system itself. But who? And why? The betrayal within. Sophia Hayes, head of AI security, kept her eyes locked on the screen, fingers flying over the keyboard. "We have less than 24 hours before the public unveiling of this technology," she said, her voice edged with urgency. "If we don't find out who did this and why, we might lose more than just a file." Ryan Carter, still under suspicion, crossed his arms, frustration flickering in his eyes. "You already proved I didn't take it. But that means the real thief is still inside SpaceX. What if they're one step ahead of us?" Musk turned toward him, an unreadable expression on his face. "They won't be for long." Forcing the enemy to show themselves. Elon Musk wasn't just playing defense anymore. He was about to go on the offensive. He grabbed his phone, his voice calm but commanding. "Is the off-site SpaceX facility secure?" A technician on the other end stammered. "Why, yes, sir. It's completely isolated from our main servers." Musk nodded. "Good. I want you to publicly announce that we've rebuilt the missing file from scratch and that we'll be transferring the updated version to the off-site facility in 2 hours." Sophia's eyes widened. "You're setting a trap." Musk smirked. "I'm forcing the thief's hand. If they believe the real file is still lost, they'll try to intercept the new one. And when they do," Ryan's eyes gleamed with realization, "we'll catch them in the act." The clock is ticking. With the false announcement made, the entire SpaceX team braced themselves for what came next. The file transfer was a lie. But the hacker wouldn't know that. The moment they tried to steal the fake file, Musk and his team would track them directly to their source. Seconds stretched into minutes. The control center was deathly silent, everyone glued to the security monitors. Then, an alert flashed red on Sophia's screen. "Unauthorized access detected." Sophia's heart pounded. "They're taking the bait." Lines of code flooded the display as the intruder attempted to breach the firewall protecting the decoy file. Musk leaned in. "Trace them." Sophia's fingers flew across the keyboard. The system ran in real time, tracking the hacker's digital footprint. But something was wrong. The intruder wasn't connecting from outside SpaceX. They were already inside the building. The true identity revealed. Sophia's screen suddenly froze. A cryptic message appeared, mocking them. "Nice try, Elon, but you're still too late." Ryan cursed. "They know we're onto them." Sophia wasn't done yet. She dug deeper, forcing her way past the hacker's misdirection. And then, she found it. The IP address traced back to a single office inside SpaceX. Musk's voice was ice cold. "Who is it?" Sophia's throat went dry as she turned to face him. "It's Dr. Nathan Reynolds." A stunned silence filled the room. Dr. Reynolds, one of SpaceX's most trusted senior engineers. Ryan's hands clenched into fists. "He's been with the company for years. Why would he betray us?" Musk's jaw tightened. "There's only one way to find out. Confrontation." Security officers stormed into Dr. Reynolds' office, where they found him hunched over a computer, his face illuminated by the dim glow of his monitor. The moment he saw them, he bolted. Musk was already waiting for him at the exit. Going somewhere? Reynolds stopped dead in his tracks. His hands shook, his eyes darting wildly around the room. You don't understand. Sophia held up her tablet, displaying the undeniable proof of his guilt. You were rerouting the stolen file through an encrypted server. Who were you selling it to? Reynolds exhaled sharply. You don't get it, do you? This technology shouldn't belong to just one company. Musk took a step forward, his expression unreadable. So you tried to sell it? Reynolds shook his head. Not sell. Share. Ryan's fists clenched. With who? A grim smirk crossed Reynolds' face. People who will use it to shape the future. Musk's eyes narrowed. And what future is that? Reynolds' voice was eerily calm. A world where innovation isn't locked away by corporations. A world where no single man holds the key to the stars. The aftermath. Within minutes, Reynolds was taken into custody. The stolen file was retrieved and secured. Musk exhaled, glancing at the screens one last time before turning to Sophia. Make sure this doesn't happen again. Sophia nodded. I'll rebuild the system's security from the ground up. Ryan let out a long breath. We came so close to losing everything. Musk smirked. Almost. As the sun rose over SpaceX headquarters, Musk knew that this was more than just a failed theft. It was a warning. The future of space travel wasn't just about technology. It was a war of ideologies. And as long as Elon Musk stood at the helm, he would make sure SpaceX was always ahead of the game. Elon Musk's secret innovation stolen. The traitor among them. The air inside SpaceX's control center was electric, charged with tension. Every pair of eyes was glued to the flashing red alert on the screen. Unauthorized access detected. Location. Level 5. AI Engineering Division. Elon Musk's expression remained unreadable, but his sharp eyes flickered with something dangerous. James Carter. The name hung in the air like a death sentence. Ryan Carter, who had just cleared his own name, stared at the screen in disbelief. That's impossible. Sophia Hayes didn't wait. She pulled up the live security feed. On the screen, James Carter sat at his workstation, fingers flying across the keyboard. His face was calm, too calm. He wasn't panicked. He wasn't trying to run. He knew they were watching. Face to face with the enemy. Elon Musk didn't hesitate. Lockdown level 5. Sophia's fingers moved like lightning across the control panel. Alarms blared. Doors sealed shut. Security teams mobilized. Ryan was already moving. I need to be the one to confront him. Musk gave him a single nod. Go, but don't underestimate him. Ryan sprinted toward level 5. Sophia close behind. The long steel corridors of SpaceX felt endless. The only sound was the rhythmic pounding of their own footsteps against the floor. Finally, they reached James Carter's office. Ryan slammed the door open. James didn't even flinch. He just smiled. You're too late. Sophia's voice was razor sharp. Step away from the computer. James leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, completely unfazed. Why? You already know I'm the one who took it. Ryan's fists clenched. Why, James? James exhaled, shaking his head with an almost pitying look. You still don't get it, do you? His voice was calm, eerily so. This isn't about stealing money. It's about control. Sophia's patience snapped. Control over what? James chuckled. Over the future. Ryan stepped forward. We trusted you. James finally stood, his expression unreadable. Elon Musk talks about going to Mars, building the future, saving humanity. But have you ever stopped to ask who controls that future? Sophia narrowed her eyes. And you think you should? James let out a quiet laugh. No, but the people I work for do. A sinking realization settled in the room. Ryan's voice dropped to a whisper. You weren't working alone. James smirked. Of course not. Elon Musk's next move. Back in the control center. Musk watched the security footage unfold. His face remained still, but his mind was already 10 steps ahead. He turned to his team. Prepare a system wipe. Sophia's voice crackled through the radio. What? If we do that, we could lose years of data. Musk cut her off. Do it. She hesitated for only a second, then nodded. Understood. James Carter had infiltrated their system, hidden the file, and manipulated their security. But now Musk was going to burn the entire playing field. The final confrontation. James must have felt it happening. His smirk faltered. His hands twitched. Ryan's heart pounded. "What did you do?" James's voice was sharper now. Angrier. "You idiots. You just destroyed everything." Sophia pressed her earpiece. "Elon, we need to know, was the file part of the system wipe?" A long pause. Then Musk's voice came through. "No." Ryan and Sophia exchanged glances. Musk continued. "The real file isn't digital. It never was." James's face twisted in confusion. Sophia's eyes widened in realization. "You tricked him from the start." Musk smirked. "You bet I did." The truth revealed. James Carter wasn't just a brilliant engineer, he was a pawn. He thought he had stolen the real blueprint. But what Musk had created wasn't just a file. It was a decoy. The actual self-repairing rocket technology wasn't stored on any digital server. It was encrypted in Musk's own mind. James Carter's last words. James's confidence crumbled. He took a shaky step back, as if the realization had physically struck him. Ryan's voice was cold. "You lost." Security stormed the room. James Carter was arrested on the spot. As he was led away, he looked directly at the camera, at Musk. "You think this is over? You have no idea what's coming." Musk simply smirked. "Neither do they." The aftermath. Hours later, the dust began to settle. Sophia exhaled, rubbing her temples. "So, we won?" Ryan chuckled, shaking his head. "We stopped him, but I don't think we've seen the last of them." Musk stood at the window, staring at the city lights. His voice was low, thoughtful. "They're testing us. They wanted to see if they could break in." Sophia swallowed. "And if they had?" Musk turned, a small smile on his face. "They would have found nothing but an empty vault." Ryan crossed his arms. "So what now?" Musk's eyes gleamed. "Now?" He turned back toward the vast horizon, where the future was still waiting. "Now, we make sure SpaceX is untouchable." Elon Musk's betrayal. The genius who fell from grace. The halls of SpaceX were silent except for the rhythmic footsteps of security personnel escorting James Carter out of the AI engineering division. The once revered mind, the architect behind many of SpaceX's innovations, had now become a traitor. A man who had gambled everything and lost. Elon Musk stood motionless, watching from the glass walls of his office. His sharp eyes followed James's retreating figure. Yet his mind was already elsewhere. This was never just about stolen data. This was a war between human ambition and the relentless march of technology. The final confrontation. Inside the AI engineering lab, the atmosphere was thick with tension. James Carter sat in his chair, his once proud posture now slightly slumped. He didn't resist. He didn't argue. Ryan Carter stood nearby, anger still simmering in his veins. "Why, James?" His voice was tight. "You had everything." James let out a low, bitter chuckle. "No, Ryan, I had nothing." Sophia Hayes, head of SpaceX's AI security, crossed her arms. "That's a lie, and you know it." James shook his head, his voice laced with resentment. "I gave this company everything. I was here before Falcon Heavy, before Starship, before I controlled launch systems. I wrote the codes, built the algorithms, and then," he exhaled, eyes dark, "then you built a system that no longer needed me." A heavy silence filled the room. Elon Musk finally spoke. His voice was measured, cold, yet filled with an undeniable finality. "James, I trusted you." James's smirk returned, though weaker now. "You trusted me until you didn't." Sophia stepped forward, holding up the final evidence. "This proves you attempted to steal the classified blueprint." James's expression didn't change. Instead, he let out a quiet chuckle. "You're smarter than I expected." Ryan clenched his fists. "So that's it? No remorse? No regret?" James's eyes darkened. "You don't get it. This was never about the file." Sophia's brows furrowed. "Then what was it about?" James leaned forward slightly. His voice was low but filled with conviction. "It was about proving that without people like me, SpaceX is nothing." Elon remained silent for a long moment. His gaze locked onto James like a predator measuring its prey. Then, with an icy finality, he responded, "You're wrong. SpaceX has never been about people or AI. It's always been about the future. And the future doesn't belong to those stuck in the past." For the first time, James's confidence wavered. A genius who lost his way. Security moved in. James Carter, you are under arrest for unauthorized access and theft of classified data. James didn't resist. He knew the game was over. As he was led away, he turned one last time to Elon. There was something in his gaze, not hatred, not regret, but an eerie sort of peace. As if, in his mind, he had still won, but he hadn't. The file remained untouched, hidden behind layers of security only Musk himself understood. The damage was prevented, but the betrayal left its mark. Sophia let out a slow exhale. I never thought James would be the one. Elon's gaze remained locked on the door where James had disappeared. The greatest betrayals always come from those we least expect. Ryan turned to Musk. What now? Elon's voice was firm. We move forward. The aftermath. The following weeks were a whirlwind of security reviews, system upgrades, and internal audits. James Carter's actions had forced SpaceX to reevaluate everything, its hiring processes, its security protocols, its very philosophy on balancing AI with human expertise. Sophia sat across from Musk in the conference room, her brows furrowed. Maybe James wasn't entirely wrong when he said AI is replacing people. Ryan scoffed. That doesn't justify what he did. Elon remained silent for a moment. Then, he turned toward Sophia, his voice steady. AI isn't replacing people. AI is replacing inefficiency. Sophia exhaled slowly. And people like James? Elon's eyes hardened. People like James had a choice. Adapt or be left behind. He chose the latter. A silence settled between them. James Carter had been brilliant, but he had let his ego destroy him. Ryan leaned back in his chair. So, where do we go from here? Elon smirked. We go where we were always meant to go. Forward. The road ahead. That evening, Musk stood alone in his office, gazing at the vast cityscape. James's words still echoed in his mind. I just wanted to prove that without me, SpaceX would collapse. But SpaceX was still standing. It was never about one man. It was never about one mind, one engineer, one idea. It was about something bigger. The future. Elon turned away from the window, a small smile forming. Onward. And just like that, SpaceX continued. The betrayal had left scars, but it had also left a lesson. A lesson that, in the pursuit of the future, nothing and no one was irreplaceable. Elon Musk's betrayal. The line between genius and downfall. The night was silent over SpaceX's headquarters. But inside, the echoes of betrayal still lingered. James Carter was gone, escorted out by security, but his actions had left a scar, not on the company, but on the people who once trusted him. Elon Musk stood before a massive screen in the SpaceX command center. His eyes locked on a new design, an innovation yet to be built. The mission wasn't over. The future didn't wait for anyone. Ryan Carter, still shaken by the night's events, let out a small chuckle. You know, for all the AI we have, there's still something it can't replace. Musk turned slightly, his piercing gaze steady. And what's that? Ryan smirked. Creativity, perseverance, the human spirit. Sophia Hayes, standing beside them, nodded in agreement. AI is powerful, but it's just a tool. How we choose to use it, that's what truly matters. Elon folded his arms, a small smile forming. We're entering a new era. One where AI and humans must coexist. But I've never believed that people will become obsolete. His voice grew firmer. It's human ingenuity that will take us to the stars. Moving forward. The next morning, Musk stood on the SpaceX launch pad, watching as starships loomed overhead, their metal exteriors gleaming under the sun. They stood like sentinels, towering, waiting, silent, unwavering, ready. Behind him, Ryan and Sophia approached, their expressions more determined than ever. Ryan crossed his arms. So what's next? Elon exhaled slowly. We keep moving forward. There's no time to slow down. Sophia glanced back at the launch pad. James Carter was a brilliant mind. But SpaceX has never been about one person. It's about something greater. Elon turned to face them. Exactly. We're building the future, not just of space travel, but of humanity itself. He let his gaze drift back toward the starships. The journey was far from over. A lesson for the future. The story of Elon Musk and the betrayal at SpaceX is more than just a thrilling tale of espionage. It's a reminder of the power of human resilience, innovation, and integrity. As we move toward an AI-driven world, we must ask ourselves, What truly defines us? Technology is a tool, but it's our curiosity, creativity, and determination that shape the future. Never let fear of change make you obsolete. Instead, adapt, learn, and grow. Stay ahead by embracing knowledge, questioning everything, and most importantly, never losing sight of the values that make us human.